This is tip number 4 from this series, 10 tips for intentional practice. In this tip, I want to talk about the 4 elements of music, or the way that I see music. There's 4 elements. And this tip is a little bit inspired by a cookbook. Maybe you know it. It's called Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, written by Samin Nosrat. Those are elements that a chef would use to create a dish the way that they would like to. In music, we're not dealing with those same 4 elements, but I do think of there being 4 elemental things that we can work with. So those are melody, harmony, rhythm, and expression. Melody, I guess, is really anything that you can do one note at a time could be melody. So this would be melody. Right? Harmony would be more than one note at a time. Rhythm doesn't need any notes at all. We can just chuck away. But more often than not, there's also some melody and or harmony going on with rhythm. So it could be something like that. But also, if you're playing melody, there could be rhythm just within that melody. I was thinking about rhythm rhythm was the engine of that little snippet that I just made up. So, okay, those are things that you might be familiar with as being essential to music. What do I mean by expression? That's a slightly different category, right? It's not something that's obviously, notated on a page in the same way that the other things are, but it's just everything that you do touching the instrument. It's the dynamics, how loud or soft each note is. It's the shape of the note. Does it come on with a sharp attack? Or is it softer? Is there vibrato or not? Do we land on the note, bang on? Or do we bend into it? Or we could pre-bend. We could slide up to it. Slide down to it. We could hammer. We could pull off. All of those things are kinds of expression, and I'm sure you could, without too much effort, think of half a dozen or a dozen more ways that you make the note be something more than just a note. So those are the things, and just as a kind of thought experiment, I'd love for you to, you could do this on paper, make a little, like a square with 4 quadrants. and write those 4 words in each of the squares: melody, harmony, rhythm, expression. And then record yourself playing something. It could be anything. Nothing fancy. You could record yourself on your phone, whatever you have handy. Record yourself improvising for a minute or two. And listen back and notice which of those 4 things seems to be your priority in that improvisation. Were you thinking mostly about one more than another? And if so, if you can identify which of those you were leaning into for that one, put an X through it, and now do another improvisation. You're going to do 3 more improvisations, each favoring one of the other quadrants. So if you were thinking rhythmically the first time, do another improvisation where you're just thinking about expression, and then listen back to that. See if that comes through in what you hear. Then do one based on melody, listen to that, one based on harmony, and listen to that. The listening part is as important as the doing. In this exercise, in any of the exercises that I share with you, actually listening to what you're doing is half of the exercise, not just the doing of it. So once you do this, maybe do the same thing tomorrow. Do one without thinking about it. Listen again. See which you tended to favor just spontaneously, and then one by one tick through them and do more improvisations. Once you feel comfortable with this, doing this exercise for a few days, see if you can do combos. Hey, I want to improvise something that has to do with harmony and rhythm. Hey, I want to do something that has to do with melody and expression, and so on. So see if you can mix it up, and then again, listen and make sure that those things are coming across, because if you're trying to convey rhythm and expression, and when you listen to it, all you hear is oh, that's really melody, then you're not as in control of what you're doing as you might like to be, or as you might want to be. So work on this, and as best as you can, have fun with it. I'm making it sound like, there's a particular way to do it, and I would like you to approach it that way. But there's no wrong. It's just exploring and being curious and seeing if you can use your muscles in a new way and kind of hone your instincts to be aware of things in a new way. So those are the elements, the 4 elements, and see where that takes you. Hey, thanks for tuning in to this week's tip. It's part of a series. I don't know if you knew that, but I'm doing this New Year's series called 10 Tips for Intentional Practice. It's kind of like a New Year's resolution series specifically for guitar players. I've come up with 10 things that I think are important for just about any kind of player, whatever your level, whatever your interest is. I think you'll find something here that will help you set a good intention for growth on the guitar in this year. If you haven't already subscribed to Guitar Tips, that's this channel, right now would be a perfect time to subscribe. And if you liked this video, then please give it a thumbs up, like, and make sure to tune in next week for another tip in the series.